Hello, my dear students. I'm here with another beautiful story which has a moral lesson to convey to you all. So, here, let me tell you that everybody is not good at the things that are there in the world. Some are good in studies, some are good in sports, some have a different way of doing things, some are so creative. All right, but when we want to see all these qualities in everyone, then the problem crops up. Okay, so here through this story, we will learn that different people do work differently. Okay, and if we want to see good aspect or the creative aspect of them, then we should leave them without any chains, without any entrapment. Okay, if we let people do things according to their wish, according to their style, then certainly the outcome will be better than we expect. So, children, let's begin with the story. And the title of my today's story is Trust. Okay, and it is written by, rather, it is narrated by Robin Shankar. All right, so let's begin. Come here, sit down. Along with father's severe voice, the atmosphere in the room became so tense that it seemed to be almost solidified, and I felt so nervous. My heart seemed about to jump out of my throat. At such a moment, I always stood a distance away from him, keeping my head down, just like a criminal being questioned, and father like a severe judge. I never dared to go over to him as he demanded, because I feared that what had often happened would happen again. As I sat down in the chair, he would suddenly take a slipper from one of his feet and hit me right in the face, without looking into the rights and wrongs of the case. I could not help but shiver even at the thought of it. I still stood there and did not dare to move. Sit down. Did you hear that? It was perhaps father's final advice. He even pushed the chair a little forward towards me. I was scared to death to sit down, but I didn't obey. I would not have more severe punishment. I forced myself to sit down and felt very agitated. I was waiting for the first blow to fall on my head, but it did not come. I began to wonder why he did not start. After a while, I heard him ask, "What marks did you get for your midterm exams?" When I heard this, I felt as if he had hit me heavily on the head. I began to turn it over in my mind. He had just come back from the school's parents' meeting. Why did he ask while he has known the answer? At this moment, he said in a low voice, as if to comfort me, "Don't be afraid, child. Tell father honestly the result of the exam, and I won't beat you." I had no way out but said reluctantly, 82 in English, 62 in math. I lowered my head again and glanced at him stealthily. His face turned livid. He bit the lips and walked back and forth with his two hands clasped behind his back. Suddenly he walked over to me. Immediately I felt every part of my body draw tight, and I thought that he was going to punish me again, as usual. I never expected it, but he sat down in a chair opposite me and said to himself, with his head low, I shouldn't have beaten you in the past. Now I realize that you can't beat out an intelligent child. Father gave out a long sigh, stood up, and walked to my side. He stroked my head and said to me, you would better go to find the cause of your poor marks. From now on, if you have any problems, you should ask others. You should have high aspirations in the future. Dad trusts your ability to study well. After father finished his words, I was so much astonished. Trust? It was the first time for me to hear this word from Dad, as if there was something squeezed in my throat. I felt my nose twitch and I began to weep. A feeling of guilt which I never experienced rushed in my mind. I went to my own room and by chance I saw that father got a green covered book out of his pocket. The big words of the title, Child Psychology, and the surname, Robin Sharma, at the lower corner caught my eye. Oh, how familiar that book looked! Wasn't it the book that teacher Liu in our class often read? Well, now I knew why my father has changed, why he has become softer than earlier. Now I understand that my teachers has conveyed him that he should not be harsh on his child. They have given child psychology book to my father to understand his son better. Now the son regretted and he was happy also because his father started understanding him. So here with that situation, he wanted to come out of that guilt. He worked wholeheartedly day and night. Whatever problem he had, he asked his fellow mates. Then he was able to solve each and every problem. And now he had become a good student. And in the final term, he stood first in entire class. Father was extremely proud of his son. He was thanking not only the book but the teacher as well, because with this book he got his son back. Son, to some extent, had become his enemy because of his harsh behavior. He started considering him as an autocrat, but now his mindset has changed because of this book. So he thanked book and he understood the power of book as well. By this the story ends. Now children, let's discuss what do we learn from this story. So children, through this story we understand that when we are a parent, then we have to think about so many aspects of a child, whether he is having some problem, whether he is being bullied in the school, whether he is not able to learn the subjects that he has been offered in the school, whether he is having some problems with his nutrition. It is because if we lack nutrition in our body at that time, also we won't be able to study well. We won't be able to keep things in our mind. So it is the duty of parents to look after their children wholeheartedly. Alright? And not only that, we should not force the subjects that is offered by the school. They can be better creator, they can be a better sports person, they can be a good speaker, but apart from these things, they can be a good son. So this is what a parent requires. So right from the beginning, if we leave all these aspects upon the child, then certainly today or tomorrow he is going to be a better person. He will prove that his parents' trust is not going to be futile. Alright? The trust that they have on their child is going to be fruitful when they grow up and when they work wholeheartedly. Certainly, they are going to make their parents proud of their actions. So, here we learn that every time being an autocratic parent is not good. Sometimes we need to leave the child as to choose his own desires, to choose his own path in life. If this happens, then the child can groom in leaps and bounds. Not only that, he will enjoy his life as well, because life is full of struggle, but if we lead it in a better way, then we get positive result from it. So by this we end today's class. Children, I hope you learned to be truthful, you learned to trust your parents, and to be so much confident that your parents will believe on yourself as well. So let's nurture these qualities in us so that there won't be problem with our parents as well. So let's meet in our next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye. Have a good day, children.